So Mr. Quinnell, I know already walked around and introduced himself to all of you, and so I'm going to in a moment introduce him and what our superintendent's going to talk about. But what I want to do before we do that is all of you are in classes together, and on Fridays you're a really special class together in that you are the chosen ones who go to Manchester Community College and take that college class. And this is the third year we've done this. I can tell you, many of you do not know, it didn't go so well that first year. And we thought it was going well, but we met with the college and made some changes, and last year went well. And then this year, the feedback that I'm getting from the professor that this is clearly the best group to date. Really excited to work with all of you. You go there, you listen, you want to participate in the class. And this is before you even gotten really into the nuts and bolts. You haven't been in the kitchen that much, kind of thing. So the fact that you're doing that already is a great sign. And you don't know this, but you're really fortunate being able to have a college class on your transcript that you're going to have college credit for free as long as you get a C or higher. And more importantly, you're not losing out in terms of here. You're not having to choose. You're basically dually enrolled in high school and being successful in college. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to give feedback on that. Do you like that opportunity? Is that something you wish more students have, or what do you think of it so far?
I think it's a great opportunity. I think it teaches kids how to, it doesn't give you the full experience of how college is going to be, but it gives you like a preview.
Classes.
Thank you. A preview of how it would be and how hard that you're going to have to work. And it's fun. Like, it's not just boring, like you're hands-on doing something.
Have you been surprised at how hard it is, or is it easier than you thought?
It's harder than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
What's hard about
The
it?
class feels dumbed down.
Say it again?
The class feels dumbed down.
You think they're dumbing it down for you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this, that's not what they're communicating to us. I think what community colleges are finding is there are a lot more students going to college these days than when I was applying and Mr. Quinnell went to college. And so that's a good thing, but colleges are changing just as high schools are changing to best meet the needs of all students. And that means instructors have to kind of maybe rethink how they go about teaching. And so you may have that feeling, but trust me, you might take another college class a year or two from now and you're like, oh my gosh, my English class in high school was harder than that class. So it's interesting as you progress and take more classes. What else have you learned?
What's the biggest difference between a college class and a high school class? What's the biggest difference you see between a college class and a high school class?
You get more freedom.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like time management, like managing your time to get the work done.
Yeah,
It's all on you.
yeah,
And Anthony, that's a huge point, and I'll be honest,
that is a huge point.
that was a tough thing for me to learn that freshman year, because it's not like I was going to college and trying to skip classes, but there were classes and then there were like optional. So I had a science class where there was literally 300 people in that class, but then there was an optional class where you could go work and there was only 15, and there was like one of the teacher assistants who would teach that. And I was like, I don't need to go to that. And then I get my first project from it. Ooh, maybe I do need to go to that. And so, but there wasn't a teacher, there wasn't an adult saying, hey, you have to go do that. And so I think, Anthony, your point is that I'm glad you're learning that now, because now you can begin to practice that in high school, that, okay, it's on me, so I should start doing that now, so then when I do make that transition full time, there's not a surprise, and I'm not going to have a semester where I fail everything, or I don't end up getting credit in classes that I've paid money for. Because right now, your parents, your guardians are paying taxes, and that's essentially paying for your high school, among other things. When you go to college, who's paying for it?
You.
Usually you or your family. And if it doesn't go well, do you get a refund?
No. You gotta
Oh.
still pay it off.
They'll let you stay. So,
I got one more question.
Sure.
So if you think about, like for me, I'm always really interested in what should we be doing different, so are you guys all seniors? Juniors and seniors?
Yeah.
Juniors, seniors. Good, so some of you guys, we get you for another year, which is great. For some of you, can really help us right now. What could we do different to make sure that kids can be successful in these college classes that you're experiencing? Anything you can think of that we should be thinking about? Anthony, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were together in middle school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
The only thing I would really say is you gotta I know how everything is supposed to be on you, personally, but I feel like we should have one class where all we do is work on that, like the homework, for instance. The homework is a lot.
For college, like learning the habits to do homework in college.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're saying that the folks in the room, you'd like a scheduled time where you can, the class that you're taking right now, work on it?
Yeah.
We had
work
one
on
period, but one period is
Yeah.
really not enough to
Okay.
get.
Yeah, that's like the last 15 minutes of 20 minutes of the class.
Yeah.
Like once a week also.
So they give a lot of homework in this class, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something we can absolutely talk about with our sports staff who's supervising that, because we could do that, and that's honest, fair feedback. Particularly this past week, you've had 2 weeks, and so upcoming weeks, that's definitely something we could look to do. So, but this conversation is a great segue to what Superintendent Quinnell is here to talk about. And the topic for this week is kind of knowing your skills, knowing yourself, understanding what you're good at, understanding maybe what you're not good at. And so one thing I just heard Anthony globally kind of talking about with this group is time management is something that all of us need to work on, and I include myself in that. And so if you're aware of that, hey, I need to manage my time better, that's something you need to work on, well, that's a good thing, and it's going to give you an opportunity to know this is something I need to work on. And likewise, if there's something you're good at, you know your skills, now you can sell yourself. Now you can apply for majors and you can apply for jobs that fit your skill set. And that's something that a lot of high school students don't really know. Like if I asked you, what are you good at? You might have an answer, but a lot of times you don't. And so we want you, when you leave high school, to have that answer. Yes, you're gonna have a high school diploma, but what are you good at? What are your next steps? And how are you going to ensure that you're successful in those next steps, or you've put yourself in position to be successful? So without further ado, we'll hand it over to Mr. Quinnell, and he, I'm sure, will let you ask questions as you have them, but your undivided attention is greatly appreciated.
First of all, I really appreciate the chance to be here, and thank Dr. Rauhaus for bringing me here. I've done this before in years past, and always kind of a different theme and topic. It's kind of funny for me to sit over here because I feel like I'm being interviewed right now. I interview people all the time, and many times in interview committees, we're kind of sitting over there, and the person's sitting over here. We give them water, and they're like nervous, and they're drinking their water and all that stuff. So it's a good experience for me to sit over here. I'm not nervous. I'm actually really excited. So what I'd love to do is kind of turn this into a little bit of a back and forth, unless you really want to hear me drone on and on. Anybody interested in really hearing me drone on and on forever? I can do that too. A little back and forth. So I got some of your names when I shook your hands, and I know some of you guys from middle school, but you guys all look like so much older than you looked in middle school. So if you could kind of like help me out with your name a little bit, that would be great. But how about a little bit of back and forth question? So if I ask you a question you don't know, just say, pass this one, all right? And we'll come back to it. It's no big deal. Does that work for you guys? You're in? All right. Well, what's your name?
Rondell.
Rondell. Did you go to East Hartford Middle School? No, I didn't think I recognized you. All right. So Dr. Rauhaus asked me to talk about knowing your skills. And really, he kind of stole a lot of thunder out of what I thought to talk about. Classically, we talk about knowing your skills, know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, know what you need to improve, maybe know how to improve those things. So let's try to vary a little bit outside of that, because everybody kind of has a sense for that. So I think when it comes to knowing your skills, it's about having that kind of go-to place that you feel confident walking in a room. I can remember when I was your age, a lot of people don't believe this, but I was a very shy, quiet, pretty reserved, very serious student when I was your age. I had a lot going on in my life at that time, some challenging things going on, so my answer to all those things was to work my butt off, and I didn't really get involved socially time when I was around your age. So if kids in my high school, and it's funny because I still have my high school yearbook down in the basement, it's always funny for me to read what kids wrote about me. At the end where everybody writes in your yearbook, I read that yearbook, and sometimes I almost don't recognize the kid that they were writing about in that yearbook. And probably, I'm guessing, you won't believe me right now, Dr. House will probably tell you the same, Heidi will probably tell you the same, is when you're our age, you might have the same experience that I had. You'll be a different person. So it's hard to know who you are. It's hard to know what you're good at. And it's also really hard to know what you're going to be good at. But I think you have an opportunity that I didn't have when I was your age, is you have these experiences, you have this school that's focused on career and college readiness in a way that I didn't. So I think number one, does anyone here have a resume? Any of you guys done resumes? Your name Angel?
Yeah.
Ah, man, good to see you again, Angel. And so you have a resume. Can you tell me about your resume a little bit? Like what's on it? What did you develop it?
I don't quite remember, but I got one.
Yeah, you got one. Good, that's the first step. Is your Regina? No, man, that's a shot in the dark. What is your name?
Alexia?
Alexia. Not even close.
Mhm.
Were you at the middle school?
Yeah.
You were. So I recognize your face. Got the wrong name though. So Alexia, what's up? What's on your resume?
I had like a previous job that I had on it, which was Sears, and I was a cashier. I did like customer service and
Yeah.
stuff. And I do an internship here, so I put down the internship, and I put down that I'm like a full-time student in the class at Manchester.
Okay, good. So that's typically what's on a resume, right? It's where you're going to school, what you did for school, is your education. At some point in time, you guys soon will have your high school diploma on there. Then as you go through college, your colleges, you'll have your colleges on there. You'll have as Alexia, right? As Alexia said, you'll have your work experience, things you're on. But I think what we're talking about today goes even bigger than that. Because all of us have had different experience. It goes to the skill sets that we are particularly adept at. So I'm going to propose a new resume for us today. This is not a resume you should bring with you to a job, though. This should be the resume you keep for yourself, and maybe for the people who are closest with you, you can share it with. So this resume is going to have real simple things. It's going to be directly what are you most comfortable doing? What are you least comfortable doing? And then the last part is going to be what are 3 or 4 things that you can do to improve in the areas that you're least comfortable, as well as what are 3 or 4 ways that you can put yourself in an environment where you can do the things that you're good at. So for myself, if I talk about what I'm good at today, I'm a good communicator. I enjoy talking to people. I really like to speak to people in a whole group. Standing in front of 300, 400, 500 people doesn't bother me at all. I really enjoy that opportunity. I enjoy the opportunity to speak publicly, and I'm a very strong writer. So when I write, writing to me comes very easily. I can sit, put things together very quickly. So that's something I know about myself. Any of you guys have any things that you could kind of pin down? They say, hey, I'm good at that. This is always the hard part. If I asked you what was wrong with you, you'd all tell me, right? What's something you're good at? What's your name?
My name is Debbie. I'm really,
Debbie?
Mhm.
Yeah, we met.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember Debbie.
I'm really good at learning.
You're really good at
The
learning.
ability to absorb information really quickly.
So when things happen, it sticks with you.
Yeah.
That's an incredible skill. That's an incredible
What
skill.
Debbie also good at, Debbie was a volunteer, volunteered with Allie. Ed and I last week were at a conference, and we needed to Skype in live students to kind of talk about this college experience, talk about the CRI, and Debbie was in the right place at the right time, or maybe the wrong place at the wrong time, walking by, and she got pulled in. And so there was a room full of 30 people who she didn't know, I didn't know. We met, and she just did an amazing job talking about all of you, the experience she has had with this class. CRI just talking about what she's doing and what, quite frankly, every high school student should be doing. And so, good for her and good for all of you, because right now I know more people have something to share with Mr. Quinnell that you're good at. You need to know the things you're good at, and it's okay to brag about yourself.
What was your name? I remember. I know you.
It's Isaiah.
It's Isaiah. Thank you. Sorry. What are you good
I
at?
don't know what I'm good at, to be honest with you. Like, I don't really do much stuff.
Yeah, it's fair.
Isaiah, do you ever not get along with anybody?
Yeah, good at self-control.
Well, I've never seen it. I see you've been in this building over 100 days, and I think whether it's an adult, whether it's a student, you just have a way about you where you just can get along with anybody, and I'm not gonna, I'm sure some things I've maybe asked you to do or other people have upset you, but you just get along with people. Is that a good skill to have?
Yeah, especially working in the team.
Say it again.
Especially working in the team is good.
And tell me a job where you don't have to work on a team. Maybe the President of the United States. I don't know if that's quite the place where you shouldn't be working on a team, but we won't go there.
No, that's not even true there. Hey, that's an incredible skill. Let's get another one. Give me another one. What's your name?
Isaiah.
Isaiah, man. That's easy. Isaiah, what are you good at?
I don't know.
So Isaiah, this Friday and Saturday, what are you doing this Friday and Saturday?
State Open tournament.
Okay, there's 1 of 5 people who've qualified in this area.
You're a wrestler? Oh, come on now. What are you good at? This defines wrestling. If you're a wrestler, you're definitely good at this.
I guess I got good sportsmanship. Like last week, our whole team got an award for sportsmanship.
So how many of your teammates are going to states?
4 of us.
Okay, so
So you're going to states as a wrestler, and you're good at sportsmanship. So I'll tell you what about wrestlers. I married, my wife's brothers are all wrestlers. I was not a wrestler. So I went to these wrestling matches. Wrestling is hands down the hardest sport that is in high school.
It's like the most dangerous.
Okay, it's the most embarrassing sport too.
Yeah.
So in basketball, I'm a basketball player. Basketball, you lose the game. You know, there's 5 of us out here. There's 10 or 12 of us on the bench. Nobody's sure exactly whose fault it is we lost. There's 80 to 100 something plays in a game. Nobody knows. Guess what happens in wrestling? He's on top of you, or she's on, whatever it is. You're on your back, and then they stand you in the ring and make you put your hand up, and the loser has their hand down. It is the most singly embarrassing sport to lose that there is. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
So, well, Andy, I wasn't gonna go there. And you're wearing a singlet. I mean, who wants to wear a singlet, right? Hey, listen, singlet's the new cool, man, and I'm sure you make it cool. Good point, Alexi. So if you're able to do all that and be a sportsman, you must have incredible persistence. You know, you must be a tough kid.
I guess.
All right, so we got something there. Why is this such a hard question to answer? What's your name?
Fabiola.
I'm sorry?
Fabiola.
Fabiella? Why is what are you good at so hard to answer?
I don't know, some people don't really like notice what they're good at. They don't like, you know?
Yeah.
You don't like to brag.
Yeah. People don't want to brag.
Focus on what
Yeah.
you need to.
Well, what is your name?
Divarishka.
I'm sorry?
Divarishka.
Divarishka. Do people say your entire name every time they talk to you? 'Cause that's like, I love that name.
Bobby, Diva. I should have given you.
Bobby and Diva. Divarishka, man. Like, if I'm gonna start saying it in the morning instead of eating cereal, I'm like, Divarishka. It's like a mouthful. I'm full. You know? I love that name.
Big Scrabble word.
That's all. That is a Scrabble word. So, Divarishka, let's talk about bragging. What's the difference between bragging and being confident? Because I think we all know we want to be confident people. I don't think there's anybody in here who wants to be a person who brags. What's the difference?
I don't know. I feel like when you brag, you're being cocky about yourself.
What's the difference between cocky and being confident?
I don't know.
It's hard. I don't know either. I think there's a fine line sometimes. Help me out. Gio, right?
Yeah.
Still got it, man. I used to like the blonde hair though, man. You can't go back to that? You started before Odell Beckham did. I think you started that trend.
Yeah.
Can you catch one-handed too, with your eyes closed?
Nah.
What's the difference between cocky and confident?
Yes, when you're being cocky, you want to prove yourself to everybody how good you are. And confident, just like, you know you're good at it, but you don't want to brag about it. You're just confident about it. You don't want to tell anybody about it.
That's a better definition I would have gave. So good for you, Anthony.
When you're cocky, you're not humble.
Yeah.
But when you're confident, you're humble about yourself.
So I think the difference I think it's really, humility is a really awesome word to always remember and try to live. Confidence is when you know what you're good at and you're okay with that, and you're also okay with what you're not good at, and you know that too. So for all the things I can tell you about that I am a confident person, but for all those things I can tell you all the flaws and shortcomings and things that I wish I did better every day, and I'm okay with that too, because I'm working on those things, and I think those are really important things. But what a shame as humans that it's so hard to figure out what we're good at. I don't think you guys are very unique at all as far as having a hard time describing what you're good at. I have a team, so on my team I have 7 senior managers. So I'm the superintendent of the district, and underneath me are, they call it a cabinet team, and it's assistant superintendents and facility directors and HR directors. And I sit with them every year and I say, tell me the greatest 4 accomplishments that you had this year. And they struggle like heck to answer that question. They always struggle. And I say, tell me 4 things you should have done better this year. Oh, that's an easy one for them. They're always good at that. And I really think that that's a serious issue for us. So my challenge for you today is let's get a list together of things you're good at. Let's get really skill-based things too. Let's get things such as gets along well with others, loves to learn. I didn't ask you what you're good at. What are you good at, Father? Can you give me one?
Let me see. Learning new things, yeah.
You're great at learning new things.
Yeah.
Okay? It's such an important thing to know. Like, both you and Debbie have said kind of the same thing. But think about it, if you're trying to put yourself in a situation where you can get your skill set, you need to be in an environment where new things are constantly going on. Okay? Because if that's what you're good at, you need to get somewhere where that's happening. So a job for you that's very routine, is maybe good for someone who's very good at routines. But you're probably someone who needs to where there's very little predictability to a work environment. That's probably a good place for you.
I want to be a correctional officer, so.
That's pretty unpredictable. I think you're. However, I'm sure there's a huge part of routines in corrections because safety is about routine, right? All right, so let's move to the second part of the conversation. What are we not good at? You know, and this is, again, this isn't the beat you up phase. This is own it, identify it, and work on it. So one of the things I struggle with most as a leader and a manager is I become over-involved in other people's work to a point where I micromanage them. So when I'm at my worst, I'm over here telling Dr. Outhouse how to run his school, what he should be doing, the color of the carpet should be, oh, by the way, this is how long you should work today. And I love telling other people what to do. I love it. I actually really enjoy it because I have lots of ideas. I love having ideas. Guess what happens every time I do that?
You throw yourself off.
You forget to do the stuff you need to.
How do you think Dr. Outhouse feels when I'm over here telling him everything to do?
Overwhelmed.
Do you think he wants to be told? Do you think he wants to be told how to do everything?
No.
No.
We get that at home. We don't want it.
This is video.
Oh, sorry. Just kidding, Mom. Oh, just kidding. Yes.
People don't like that. Okay, I work with teams. I work with principals. We have 15 principals in the district. They're all very talented, bright people. They aren't interested in being micromanaged. So I got to work with that. I got to learn how to shut my mouth in certain areas and let them do things, even though I wouldn't do it like that. I need to let them do it. Let's talk about you. What are some weaknesses? This is going to be maybe easier for you. I don't want to mess up your name. Help me out.
Indiana.
Indiana Jones. Indiana, help me out. What's a weakness of yours, skill-wise?
Sometimes I think like I'm right, like most of the time.
Yeah.
So instead of like just like shutting up and then like just being taught the right way or letting someone do things the other way,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm right and I want to prove myself.
Yep.
And sometimes I'm not right, and then it makes
So we are in this one together.
things wrong.
You're in? and sometimes doesn't it feel like, you'd rather be right than anything else in the world. And I always find sometimes, what the worst time is when I think I'm right and I'm being mistreated for my rightness. That's when I go crazy, right? Like I think I've done everything right and I'm still not being treated the way I think I should be treated. And I lose sight of what's really important. So like for me, example, at my house, like I work all the time. I work incredible hours, insane hours. So I get home, my wife will be like, where have you been? Like, why aren't you home, et cetera? And I'm so right because I'm working hard to provide for this family. Why the heck are you asking me where I've been, right? So do you think I'm going to win that argument?
No.
No. What's the time to do right now?
Stay quiet and listen.
It's time to shut
Just
them
say
out.
sorry.
It's time to say, hey, I'm sorry. But I'm here now, and I'm excited to be here with you right now. But instead, guess what oftentimes the mistake I make is?
You say something.
I explain to her how hard I'm working.
Yeah.
All the great things I'm doing for the family. Do you think my wife wants to hear all that right now?
No.
Time to shut up, right? Something else.
I don't like being
You don't like what?
I don't like being put on the spot in communication.
Wow, that's a great weakness to talk about. So camera's on me, not on you though. So there's some of us who feel very uncomfortable when we get put on the spot. Anybody else who feel like that? Yeah? So my wife is absolutely an amazing person. I met my wife when I was in college. She was going to school to be a nurse. My wife is beautiful. She looks like Mariah Carey. I mean, just knockout. Well, I found out from my wife, she went through school dreading being asked a question. And many times knew the answer to the question, would pray the teacher wouldn't call on her. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh my God, I can't imagine that. So guess what? Guess what people like her need to do? If you're dreading being called on, guess what a great way not to be called on is?
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Yeah.
All right? Sometimes you need to work on inserting yourself into the conversation. So if that fear of the unexpected call on is coming for you, know that's a weakness for you. And get out of that situation by pushing yourself into the situation. Because the answer isn't what? What's not the answer to this problem? This weakness.
To avoid it.
To keep letting it happen.
To withdraw. Right? The answer is not to hide. The answer is to address it. Debbie, give me a weakness for you.
Oh, God. Procrastination, it's real bad.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right, thank you for some honesty here. Otherwise, I'm going to say a weakness if you were all dishonesty. Procrastination.
Sure, I'll procrastinate a lot.
Unbelievable. Now, so we're talking about college. Anthony's talking about the challenge to college. Guess what may be the #1 killer of college students?
Procrastination.
Procrastination. All right? Isaiah, give me another one.
For me, I'm just like not good at talking.
You're shy.
Yeah, basically.
You're quiet. You're withdrawn. All right? So for Anthony, that's a weakness. Because I think being shy, being quiet is not a weakness. Okay? Because being quiet is a gift. Because sometimes quiet people can listen and learn a lot more than us noisy folks. However, being shy, being afraid to talk is a weakness because you're stealing from the world right now because you're not sharing your gifts with others. So what Anthony needs to do is he needs to walk into class and he say, I'm going to participate 2 times in this class. All right?
I'm Anthony, that's Isaiah.
I mean Isaiah. Looking at Anthony, saying, Anthony, you better do it too. You should do it too. He needs to say, in this class, I'm participating 2 times. Right? What's that?
I said, like, he just showed his weakness, like, he didn't want to speak up and tell you, like, you're fine.
He beat it though. He beat it. He beat it. All right? All right, so let's move to the third phase here. Third phase is have a plan or have someone who can help you. All right? So concrete action plans, you know, as you're building this self-resume. So I'm honest, I'm challenging you to do this right now. Get a sticky note. On your sticky note, write down 3 things that you're good at. Write down 3 things like Anthony just put shyness. And then write down 2 things you're going to do. You know, we're excited?
It's Isaiah.
You said
Isaiah! Isaiah, sorry about that. You guys want to switch sides of the room, that'd be a help. They want to come in here, man. They know how good it is. They're dying to come in here. I'm telling you that's what it is. Write it down. So let's start action planning around some of our weaknesses. Rondell. Can you? What did you identify? You said rightness, right?
Yeah.
So can you think of an act? Can we help Rondell action plan? It's called brain overload. Can we help him action plan? What's something he can do? Maybe Indiana can help us because hers as well. What's something Rondell can do around that challenge?
Well, in the past I've tried to like just think if it's like worth the fight. Like, is it actually worth just like you thinking you're right, or should you just let it go?
That doesn't work for me.
Okay, all right. We need to come with something else then. It's a good suggestion though. Because what she's really telling you is decide in your life what's really important. And if you know what's really important, if you really know what's important, other things start meaning less. I watch kids, I used to be a middle school principal, a high school principal, I used to be a basketball coach, and I watched kids get in trouble all the time over getting worked up about things that they knew weren't important, but they got caught up on in the moment. Somebody makes fun of your sneakers. Somebody makes fun of whatever. Somebody disrespects you by bumping you in the hallway. None of us care about that stuff. But in the moment, it seemed really important. Whereas as Indiana said, if we knew we cared about a few things. Number 1, we care about our families. Number 2, we care about our faith, for those of us with faith. Number 3, we care about being successful at the end of the day. If those became the most important things in our life, we care a lot less about this other nonsense. Any other got a suggestion for Rondell, something he can do to help it? This being right sense. This is the interactive part of this experience, guys.
And you gotta give this up.
You can like, well, whoever you're trying to like prove wrong, you can let them say what they have to say about it, and then you can be like you can see their side. Just be more open-minded about it.
I like it. Before I was in this meeting, I was in my office, and I have so at the end of the day, I'm a superintendent, and we have different labor bargaining groups. Okay, so unions, etc. So what happens is when things happen between adults, there's a thing called grievances. You know what this is? So a grievance gets filed, it's a formal process, the complaint gets elevated, and at the end of the day, if it can't get solved, it ends up in front of me, and I have to be like the judge and the jury over some of the silliest things that adults are fighting about. It's really uncomfortable for me too, because I'm sitting there trying to like split the difference here. And in those moments, I'm always surprised at how these things can't be settled as simply as Alexia's saying. You know, I got a recommendation for you. In the moment of being right, I have 2 lines that I take. When someone's coming at me with something that they really think is right, I go, I hear what you're saying, and I'm quiet. You got a great way of looking right now, the way you look. Use that look. Right, look at somebody. Use that look. Look at him and say, hey, I hear what you're saying. Right, this guy in this meeting that was really upset, telling me how all these things were happening, and I said, I think I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I didn't agree with him. I didn't disagree with him either, as far as he was concerned. I said, but I heard you. So I think we've talked enough about this right now. I heard what you said. And then the other great line I use is, I hear what you're saying. I'll take this under advisement. Because I ain't going to win the argument with you. I'm not winning. Now give him a look that you had. Right? Killer look there. So there's some simple strategies. Those don't work for you. You got to come up with some yourself. Let's get another. Anthony, what's your weakness? Give us a strategy.
I'm not really sure. I got a lot of weaknesses. I'd probably say procrastination too.
Give us a strategy.
Just start doing what I gotta get done right then and there. When it needs to get
Too
done.
vague. Got to be more specific than that. Angel, help him out. What's something you can do to combat?
I was gonna say create a schedule.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that one?
Yeah.
I got it.
All right. My wall in my office, I have a thing, I call it a one-day contract. So every day I try to write a contract for myself. You know what a contract is? All right, I write a one-day contract of this is what I'm going to accomplish today. So I write the date, I write down 3 or 4 things that are going to be accomplished, and then 3 or 4 places that I'm going to try to get to by the end of the day. At the end of the day, before I leave my office at night, I look at the one-day contract, and I go, did I live up to my end of the contract? If I don't complete something on the one-day contract, guess what shows up on the next day's contract? Same thing, usually the same thing. And in a way, I hold myself accountable. Now, my desk is here. I have a nice office. I have a whiteboard right here. It's in front of me every day. So every time I look over my desk, my one-day contract's staring me back in the face. It feels terrible when you don't complete those things. So I fight procrastination through this list on the wall. Not that complicated, right? So I think, again, a strategy coming out of here for you guys and for me too, let's commit to the things we're good at. Let's know what we're good at. Let's put ourselves in environments where we can do those things. If you love to learn, get yourself in a room where learning's happening. If you're a great sportsman, you need to get...
I'm not sure what you said.
I never know what I'm talking about. If you're a great sportsman... No, those always happen at the right time.
It did sort of sound like Siri.
Siri's right on. Get yourself in an environment where you can be under high pressure and you obviously don't respond emotionally to things because that's what sportsmen do. That's incredible. Let's commit to knowing what our weaknesses is. Procrastination is your challenge, being shy is your challenge. Come with 2 or 3 really small, simple things you can do. And in that action plan, let's make it happen. But I hope today was helpful for some of you. I tell you what, every time I get a chance to sit down and talk to you guys as kids, man, I'm always blown away by you guys. The thing I wish more than anything for kids your age, young adults your age, is I wish you could see the future in the way that I think you get when you get older. Because when I look at the future for you guys, the opportunity I see is it's incredible. And I wish you saw it like that. And I think there's times in your life where you see it like that, but there's other moments of your life where you see the here, the now, the pressing, the challenging thing that's in front of you. You got to see past that. I'm looking at Isaiah right now thinking like, man, this kid must be a pretty special kid. So, he's a wrestler. He's over here. He's got a great, clear look to you. Commit to what you're doing. Commit to that future and keep working hard. And obviously, you guys got a great staff, a great principal who help you guys out a lot. I know, take good care of them. But there's something I can do to help. Best way to get a hold of me is either through Dr. Outhouse or shoot me an email. But I'm always willing to go to bat for kids, try to help kids out. So really proud of you guys, proud of what you're doing. For you seniors, looking forward to seeing you at graduation. And for you juniors, looking forward to see you next year at graduation. So that's all I got, Dr.
Okay, great. So before we give a quick round of applause, the name of the game today was Knowing Your Skills. Some of you had Mr. Quinnell as a principal, some of you haven't. Maybe you're thinking of Mr. Ryan or somebody else.
I got a lot more hair than Mr. Ryan. Come on. It was more than him.
But in the spirit of your skills, what's one lasting thing that if you could tell the old you want to brag about, something that you're good at now, something you've overcome, a place you are today that you weren't maybe the last time you saw Mr. Quinnell, what would that, if we can get one or two people to share that, that would be very cool, and then we'll give them a round of applause. So something that you're really proud of in terms of where you are today versus where you used to be. Oh, lots of hands, love it. Go ahead, Alexia.
Like last year I used to have I had really bad attendance because like that I just didn't feel like going to school was all that great. And since I've been here, I like realized the opportunities, and I feel like this school has like a lot going for me. So I love coming to school. I've only missed like 3 days.
That's off the chart.
Right.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Indiana, and then.
This is better. Not since like last year or anything, but like since like middle school and stuff, I think like I take responsibility for like when I'm wrong now, it's like damn, I'm the one that didn't do my homework. I got that grade. But like I used to be like, oh well, the teacher gave me that grade and she could have bumped it up.
And you have the coolest name in the district. I mean,
Thank
really. Anybody else an Indiana Jones fan?
We got some.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. You guys are pretty good. Anyone else an Indiana Jones fan?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I've seen the movies.
Afraid to
Seen
say
all of them.
Afraid of snakes.
Well, Edwin, you want to go too?
Yeah. Well, actually, like I didn't have like good communication skills, and I never used to push myself until I came to this school. There's like the staff will just keep pushing you till you ask for help, until you actually go 110% of knowing all your skills. And since then and now, my grades went up, my STAR testing scores went up. I'm doing a lot better than I ever did last year.
Did he pay you guys to say this stuff?
No.
Honestly, real
No.
talk.
I don't get paid enough. I don't get
Man. He does it. That's incredible, man.
But all of you, if we had time, Mr. Cornell, very busy man. Every single one of you has something to say. Almost everyone in the room is in a college class, doing an internship, doing well in school. So you could have given this talk, and in many ways you did. So we're going to give Mr. Cornell a round of applause. But that round of applause is also for you.